realize, well, there's no one here. But the magic machine does indeed tell me that I'm live. I hope you can hear me. It's late night for me to be streaming, and I am in a household full of people who keep decent hours. So when I told people I was going to do a live stream, they all said the same thing. Plan D, welcome to the live stream. Gold medal onto you. They said, now because you have a tendency to get loud. And I said, I assure you, I won't be loud. The reason I'm coming to you is basically, you know, sometimes a little silent alarm will go off in my head that'll let me know, gee, it's been a while. And I know it's been quite a while. Disclosure and disclaimers. I have always been interested in the woo, but I like to consider myself having or desiring to have a fair and balanced approach. I don't know what's real and what's not real. I'm very much aware of the reasonable arguments that skeptics put forward and have. And I do consider myself Zero Infinity Live. Welcome to the live chat. Silver medal onto you for live chat participation. A skeptic at heart. More of a skeptic than a dyed in the wool true believer for sure. Though the mystical and the manifest has always had an attraction to me, an attraction for me, and has always been something of great interest to me. And have always wanted to know why, if this is truly something that is not real, these things of the spirit, these things of the spirit realm, these things of the mystic and the metaphysical, why is it so that all people, all cultures, start from a place of belief? And even in the face of increasing scientific discovery, research, and knowledge, still continue to believe. Anyway, some may know already of my particular interest in the realm of metaphysical experimentations in mystical, magical, metaphysical time travel and the manifestation of time travel, even if only in the space between one's ears. But then again, what space other than our own headspace can we truly be said to have ever experienced? Think about it and know that it is so. Even the lowly freshman stoner who just rented The Matrix can be initiated into the first level of Gnostic teachings that is known to the philosopher as the brain in the jar thought experiment. And we see someone with an incredibly long name from a car entering the live chat. Keep your hands on the wheel, keep your eyes on the road, but feel free to join us as we go elsewhere. And a bronze medal on to you for live chat participation. A simple teaching, a simple methodology. Pick a year, any year, though certain years may be easier to get to if culturally and societally it may be stronger and more of influence. There are things that we may identify as nostalgia loops and understand that on certain frequencies and on certain loops, things have a tendency to repeat. 25-year nostalgia loops, 30-year nostalgia loops. Therefore, if one were to try to do the technique that I'm about to repeat, as I've done ad nauseum before, if one were to do it, say we're in calendar year 2026, the 25-year nostalgia loop would bring us back to 2001. If you were to say, try this mental experiment and see what the results might be, you may taste a bit of time travel phenomenon yourself. You pick a year, your target year that you wish to go to, and it takes some time to entrain yourself to get there. But the way you get there is you only listen to music to the best of your ability and your ability to control your environment. You try to only listen to music, only watch movies and TV, only read books, only read graphic novels and comics to the best of your ability. Don't freak out if outside influences bring you to different places, but to the best of your ability to control your inputs. Only absorb media and information from that given year. And see if you don't notice the physical manifest world around you start to change just a little bit more. News events, people's conversations in the workplace, around the dinner table, loose conversations in the hotel lobbies, where you start to experience more and more odd instances of the universe winking to you, letting you know that the activity that you're engaged in is working in some subtle way. Let me tell you a story. And let me preface that story by letting you know I'm very much aware of the skeptical arguments. We see patterns in the clouds. Human beings are pattern seeking machines. We're trained to see patterns. through evolution, to identify danger, to learn how to learn. You want to know how to turn the magic on and how to turn the magic off. I see you, Plandina. Appreciate your feedback. Absolutely. Wish I spoke more French. I had been doing something that was unusual for me. I was concentrating on the years 2023 and 2024. It was unusual for me because I concentrate normally when I engage in these experiments in years far down the line. 2001, 1998, 1984. Years far out, far in the past. Don't ask me how I got to 220, concentrating on 2023, 24. I don't even remember. But I had been there for some time. And while I was there, looking for and identifying things of that era and things of that year to bring me to that space, I was doing research on things that were released around that time. And the odd thing is this: I've got my current favorite game console here, the Nintendo Switch. Forget about the Nintendo Switch 2. It's a dog fart. You want to get yourself the original Nintendo Switch. And these two games, The Legend of Zelda Ages and The Legend of Zelda Seasons, they first came to the Nintendo Switch. They're games from 2001, but they first came to the Game Boy collection, to the Switch in 2023. So I thought, okay, well, I'll play them because though they're from 2001, they're from 2000 and they were put onto the console in 2023, so I guess that'll get me there. The Legend of Zelda Ages, which is the one I started playing, is from 2001, like I said, and I'd been spending some time prior before I went to 2023 in 2001, but I had left there because it was too antiquated for me. But all of a sudden, of all the games that I collected and recollected from 2023 that I had from the PS4 and, other game systems, it was The Legend of Zelda Ages that I found myself playing the most time on. So it was yesterday, or the thing was yesterday. It was whenever this news hit about Kid Rock. I'll tell you, because this is the story that I said to myself, okay, I'm going to lily pod leap off of 2023 through The Legend of Zelda Ages that was released in 2001 back to 2001 because I had been spending like a couple hours playing this Legend of Zelda game. So as I'm going back to 2001, and remember, the Legend of Zelda Ages game, it's all about time travel. Bum, bum, bum. Now, folks, I'm aware that this is all mental masturbation. We're all just having Tim Frey. The Rogues Gallery is all here. Well, not all here, but some of us are here. It's all just magical mental masturbation. But then again, we're here not for a long time, as they say, but we're here. As long as we're here, we might as well have a good time. We've got these brains. Might as well do something with them, right? Imagination, it's a hell of a drug. But at least you can carry it with you, right? Just don't get too high on your own supply. So 2001, I finally say, I'm going to go on to 2001, leapfrogging from 2023 through Legend of Zelda Ages, which is originally released in 2001 on the Game Boy Color, back to 2001. Now I gotta tell you something. In 2001, just after the World Trade Center disaster, was when I first got my first Game Boy Advance. And I was happy to know that when I first got the Game Boy Advance, I was going to go on this plane ride. We went down to Key West, Florida for what's known Fantasy Fest. It was like their version of Mardi Gras. That I could expand my gaming dollar because not only could the Game Boy Advance play Game Boy Advance games, the little thin ones, it could also play Game Boy Color games. Ah, I didn't have Legend of Zelda though. I had other games though. I had like Dragon Warrior 3, I think. I remember distinctly. And I had like one of the Heroes of Might and Magic game. Anyway, I got the whole I got show you anyway. So, but here's where the wedgie goes atomic, as we could say. And it brings us to our thumbnail, our kind of clickbaity thumbnail, and our description box description that is entirely written by ChatGPT and basically has nothing to do with the contents of this video. Well, I guess it has something to do with the contents of this video, but we're fast tracking and we gotta get things done. So we lean on the assistance of the computer overlords, which I think at this point we know is it's they're not going to take over. I think it's a safe bet to know that the bloom is off the rose as far as artificial intelligence is concerned, right? We've like seen behind the wizards, Toto has pulled back the cloak, and we see it's like you know what I mean. It's like we're done. You know what I mean? Like Sam Altman's, you know what I mean, 3 feet tall. You know what I mean? Elon Musk is on getting high on Zelda. You know what I mean? It's all CW Chandler doesn't know what he's talking about. He's lost his mind and been taken back to the home. Anyway, hubris, love eating, and comedic exaggeration. Not fit for lawsuit. Patent pending. Anyway, I swear to Black Lady Jesus, I had made the decision to go back to 2001. I like that temporary. I like that. I had made the decision to go back to 2001. I had turned off the Nintendo Switch, turned off the TV, and had gone back upstairs. And I turn on my phone, and I swear to Black Lady Jesus, this is the unbiblical truth. I swear to you. I turn on my phone. I turn on YouTube, which is my, Pavlov dogian response to free time. And the first thing that comes up is Kid Rock is in trouble because video has surfaced from his 2001 appearance on SNL where he's talking and saying, uncouth remarks about the Olsen twins. And I was like, holy shit, time travel is real. You know what I mean? I've busted through, you know what I mean? Trigonometry times 10, tetragrammaton, you know what I mean? Like I'm Aleister Crowley, like forget about it, you know what I mean? Like I gotta tell the people on YouTube, you know what I mean? If you do this, if we all do this together, we're gonna, you know what I mean? We're gonna take over Mount Washington, you know what I mean? Like, Trump, you know what I mean? We'll just you know what I mean? We can bring David back, you know. You know what I mean? And yeah, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there is there's cause and effect, and there's also chaos. You know what I mean? Is there causation here? Probably not. But at the same time, in my personal timeline, event B did immediately follow on from event A. Event A being my mental decision to go from this time travel track of saying I'm engaged in an attempt to time travel to 2023, 2024, and engaged in active pursuit of doing that and making a specific mental decision to switch that needle off that groove and switch it to 2001. And boom, the next thing that I see on YouTube is a news event that connects this present timeline to 2001. And I've always said, hey, you know what I mean? If I was one of these true woo woo people, a channeler, mystical, 2012 guy, whatever, I'd be like coming to the field with like these sort of results, and I'd be being held forth as like the second coming of, Edgar Casey with some legitimate results here, right? But because I'm, tap dancing in the realm of the skeptical, people are like, sounds like it was a great night. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then you tell the story and it's like, you know what I mean? It's like when you're a kid and you start taking psychedelic drugs and you're like, you and your friends are like, we figured it out, man. We understand everything. And then like, we gotta do next time is we gotta videotape this, man. We gotta videotape these discussions because we're figuring shit out. And then you play back those videotapes and those audio tapes, and it's just you and your friends going, yeah, it's like everything's connected, right? Like that tree and that sky, they're like connected. It's like science, man. Anyway, from that moment to this moment to now, where I share with you moments in time. But here's what we do know, what I figured out. It doesn't matter if this video is seen by 5,000 people, by 50,000 people, by 500 people. The fact that I know that it's been seen by approximately a handful of people from start to finish means like any diner or barroom conversation experienced by a handful of people. It's a shared moment in time. Of the many moments in time we'll have, we had this one together. And to think that at any point in time, as long as the video stays up, other people could come along and have the same moment in time. If you have faith, there's a great song by Weird Al Yankovic. It was featured in the great American documentary film Transformers the Movie. Dare to be stupid. Of all the spiritual lessons that I've learned in my life, I've been involved in Christian consciousness, I've been involved in the Churches of Satan, I've been involved in Scientology, I've been involved in numerous other fringe religions and some mainstream faiths. And I've collected many spiritual teachings. I value them all the ones that I value them all equally, and I value this one equally. Dare to be stupid. I'm not taking the piss, as the British would say. I am being forthright and honest when I tell you of the things that I offer to you in these videos. One of the nuggets of wisdom that was given to me freely and I offer freely to you is honestly, dare to be stupid. The things that I've said about time travel are true. You can do it too. And of all the things that people might think are the things that I have of value, I'm telling you, forget my involvement in any other personality on the internet. Try time travel. It works. And you'll be able to say, even if you feel that you have the most mundane of lives, you can add to your coterie of life achievements, like Homer Simpson saying, I've been a painter, a butler, a cowboy, a country western manager, nuclear power plant, safety inspector, etc. You'll be able to add time traveler to your litany of life experiences. And that ain't half bad. From approximately the year 2000. From the Vampire Tarot, the Ten of Wands. It can feel like a burden. All this power, all this knowledge, all this life experience. But you're carrying it over the finish line. And you're carrying it to somewhere. And it may be feel burdensome, but you don't need to be burdened by it. Albert Camus asked us and told us that we can and must imagine Sisyphus happy. Whether we see this lovely Morgana-esque, Lillian Munster-esque spirit with the multitude of candles, or if we reflect on the classic Rider-Waite image of the individual trudging forward, his back to us with the 10 staves. The experience that we're experiencing can be looked at in many different ways. Our broken body, after time spent on earth, can be reflected upon and remembered as the years of experience that wore it down. And I'm not saying it's easy to do, but I'm saying with your brain, with your mind, with your consciousness, you have the power. You are the music maker. You are the singer of the song. You are the interpreter. Even with the jailer outside your cell, when they say you are imprisoned, it is your ability to say, thank you for imprisoning me here, where I can be free from the outside temptations of the world and be here free from those outside temptations in a perfect space, perfectly suited for hermitage and meditation and a journey of asceticism. Think about it. It's not just time travel, it's training for using your braining to those who have freedom and the desire to seek and the desire to see. All shall be revealed. Can speak. Hell to the yeah. Appreciate it. Word to your mother. I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did. That somebody CW Chanter. Don't you forget it. I'm here with you in mind, body, and spirit. Don't let the bastards grind you down. And don't let the bitches get to you either. Till next time.